How you guys doing? My name is Joel Onyia. I am the CFO and COO of Liv'n. I'm from Enugu State, Nigeria. Reside here in Dallas, Texas. Today's topic, we'll be talking about the Igbo entrepreneurship, or the Igbo boy, as we say it, the Igbo apprenticeship system, globally recognized in business, studied in all business schools, including Harvard and any other universities across the Western culture. So it's going to be a good topic today. Buckle up and let's get started.
Welcome to Sessions.
Then they call you UCC, you they laugh, baby.
First topic we'll be talking about is the 20-pound system, which is very underspoke about in the general society. Which the 20-pound system comes after the Biafran War. So in 1970, after the Biafran War, the Republic of Nigeria basically wiped out the entire bank account of the Igbo people, only giving them 20 pounds. And this goes for anybody too. It doesn't matter if you have hundreds of thousands of dollars in your bank account, millions of dollars in your bank account, you're basically crippled to start from nothing and to build with just 20 pounds. So after post-war, that's where the resilience of the Igbo people start really showing its light. We start trading basic good that we have access to. The Igbo people, based on where we are in the southeast region, we are good with farming. So we started trading salt, we started trading cassava, we started trading palm oil. And based on those little trade, we start implementing and we start creating markets everywhere around the state of, everywhere around the Igbo land, as in Abia states become a huge hub to our global trade. Onitsha and Anambra states became a very huge hub in trade. And so from those, from just starting from the basic needs of our people, that's how the Igbo people started really rising up and showing their resilience to the world. So that's how the Igbo boy bidokwe. Bidokwe means start. It started by the senior businessmen around each community. They were responsible to cater and to cultivate young men, and so they will have a bunch of young men from their villages, or sometimes from other villages, and they will be responsible to train them in trade, train them in any aspects that they have knowledge in. And from there, those boys are gonna get older, and we call it settle. The senior man or the oga will settle the younger man, and so we'll give them the access to their trade and give them access to all their connections, and also give them a shop and a little bit of money. That is definitely how resilience was passed down to all the Igbo, to all of our, to all the younger kids, and that's how we just kept spreading. My uncle, also my friend, always tells me, small is how you get stuff done. And so that's kind of what we focused on. While Kenalacho Fedioko is kind of the proverbs of that. And so we started small, and again, all the natural resources that we have is in salt, cassava, and again, palm oil. We started a trade, we built on that, and then we created hubs. Like I said, on the child was one of the hub, IBS is one of the hub. We created those hubs when it comes to clothing, when it comes to trade, and then we started using our boy to basically facilitate those trade, and we teach them how to grow those trade. We teach them the roots of it, and as they get older, they get more comfortable. We give them their own store, and we bless them in their aspects. And so that's how the apprenticeship system flourished throughout the Igbo land. Whenever we started rebuilding after post-war, 1970, after the war ended, the Igbo people, despite how much money, currency you have in your bank account, it was completely wiped out. While rebuilding, we was only given 20 pounds. Again, 20 pounds because it was colonized by the British, and so that's the current currency that we used at the time. So despite of having hundreds of thousands of pounds, millions of pounds, all you're left is 20 pounds to rebuild the nation. Just starting and growing, we had to have structural main bases. if you're from Anambra, you know about Onitsha. Onitsha main market. Everybody from Igbo land trade from there. That's our main market. It's a huge market. It's one of the biggest in the world globally, for sure. One of the biggest in West Africa. It is the biggest market in West Africa. We have Inewi market. That's where the Igbo people or even all of West Africa trade when it comes to electronics. So we definitely have our markets where globally or as when it comes to our tribally, we can go there to get goods at wholesale prices and then take it to our destination when it comes to if you live in Enugu, if you live in Abia, if you live in Imo, if you live in Ebony, if you live in Anambra, if you live in Delta, anywhere you live, you can go ahead and sell it at a higher price in that area. Man, Igbo in the diaspora is amazing. Being an Igbo man is one of the biggest pride you can even have right now, just because of the foundation and the expectation of our parents that raised us. And so as the parents come out here in America, in the Western, we usually came out here because of oil. Most Nigerians came out here in 1985 to work for Exxon Mobil, work for ConocoPhillips in the Houston area. And from then, that's how we got our visas. And we just, again, like I said, we came out here, parents raised us to the aspects of education, education, education. So that's why you see most Igbo man or woman, they're in a highly paid position when it comes to being a doctor, being an engineer, being a lawyer. Anything that we do, we want to do to the best of our ability because we understand where we come from. And so knowing all that, that's how we're thriving right now. Just because of when I say starting all the way to the 1970 when they gave us 20 pounds, most of that 1970 is our parents. Most of our parents right now are 60s, 70s. They were born in the 60s and 70s, so they went through the Biafran War. They went through the destruction of the Igbo people, and they went through the rebuilding of the Igbo people. So this is something that this generation is still actually dealing with. So knowing all that and coming to America, it was, again, for me, I came to America when I was the age of 8 years old. And so my parents never played with education because that's the only way we knew how the playing field would be equal. And so everybody strived to have a great career. And for me growing up, my parents took me to school to be a doctor. God gave me other abilities that I end up having to nurture myself, and we are here. But again, most of our people in diaspora, like you will see in any studies, the Igbos are one of the most brightest people in the walking the face of the earth. And so it's to be an Igbo man is something that you should be very proud of. I would say the biggest fuel for Igbo man to me comes first with the family. Because without family, especially in our culture, being a man, being a firstborn man, is very important because that's your legacy. Without legacy, we don't really have nothing. When it comes to culturally, it's when you're a man and a woman, you have kids, you have nothing but girls. Hence, it's not the best stand position because you have nobody to extend that legacy as much as a guy. So family is very, very, very important. Even back in the day, the more kids you have, the wealthier you are, and that's in a lot of other cultures as well too. So I think family is the most important part, and of course after that is wealth, because Igbo we don't finish last. We're very, 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 very competitive people. And we believe it doesn't matter what we have, we're going to utilize it to the best of our ability. And so finances will come into that because we think we use finance to better each other. And so once you go to this is Nigerian as a whole, but especially when you go to Igbo events, when it comes to, it can be something small as a baby shower. It can be something as a birthday, as anything. We're going to flounder you with money to show of appreciation that we want you to succeed as well too, because we're just as strong as our neighbor. That's how we really believe. And so money is it's a very deep in thing within our culture because again, we didn't have a lot of it. and we have to fight to be where we are today. So, family is the biggest thing, and an Igbo man, an Igbo woman. If you marry an Igbo woman, God bless your heart, because you better have some money, because it's not just the materialistic aspects of it. That's there, but we want to also know that we're capable of taking care of ourselves, and not just ourselves, but our family. And so money is also very important, and of course, religion is important because God is everything. Uh, you did ask me to go in order, and I don't know if one is really higher than the other one. I think everything is very, again, money will be the last thing, but family and religion is very, very key, because without faith, we couldn't be where we are right now, too. And so, again, in our culture, we don't miss church. Every Igbo man knows that. Every Igbo family knows that. You got to go to church every Sunday. And so we're a Christian nation, and we're a Christian tribe, and so we believe in Achukwu. And so religion is very, very key, because we need faith to push through. Family, again, is I would say is right there as well to religion second, and again, money is very important. But with this topic, it will be the third most valuable thing to our people. But having all three is what makes an Igbo man an Igbo man. You're a stand-up character. You know you're comfortable who you are. When you enter the room, the aura follows you. Because when it comes to confidence, you're a family person. Family always gotta come first, and then more. You gotta go all in and all out, because tomorrow is not guaranteed. So the harder you work, money they follow. And so I think those three have a good weight, but faith and family do come first and second over money. Yeah, it's a land is very, very big, and when I as me I didn't bring it up in my introduction, but I'm in real estate out here in Dallas. I own a real estate company, and I remember growing up in real estate, and my uncle always tells me, Joel, it doesn't matter how much money you have in America if you don't own land back home. And so land is very, very important when it comes to, as you get older, it doesn't matter what your dad does, you have to own land, because land you cannot change. Once you have it, it's scarcity. You cannot really change it. And then the more land you have, like I said, the more worth that we see. So land it's kind of a trophy of worth, and you have a piece of where you're from. So it doesn't matter if you live in Nigeria or if you're in the diaspora. If you're in the diaspora with millions of dollars, nobody cares back home unless you own some land. So real estate is very, very important, and that's because the land aspects of it. Now, when it comes to the real estate aspects of it, same thing. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It matters if you own a house back home. So if you go to Igbo land, you will see a lot of mansions, especially go to Anambra, if you go to Imo, if you go to, it don't matter what state you go to, you see mansions in all the villages, because everybody in the diaspora knows it doesn't matter how much money you have, you need a house, you need an estate back home. And so all these mansions are vacant as well too, because people don't really live there, because it's just a symbol of saying, yes, I'm an Igbo man. Yes, I own this estate back home, and yes, this is my land. This is my father's land. And so real estate is very, very important. Like, it doesn't. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter your accomplishment in this world. If you live in the diaspora, you don't own a land in your father's land, in your father's village. There's nothing. You don't have any wealth, basically. And same as if you live in Nigeria too, and you're doing well, your family have to own a estate in their village, a very nice one, for you to be considered important. So yes, land is passed down to the generation, and it's also primarily each family is different. Some families more modernized and share it with their kids, primarily the sons, but traditionally it's passed down to the elder son. He's kin to the father, and so that's why in the beginning I also say family is important, because a son is very, very important in the Igbo family. family tree, because the son is the one that produces the more legacy. And so when anything happens to the father's land or the land of the male, the son, the first son, is the one that takes over. So even in my situation, if anything happened to my father, I'm a firstborn. I'm the one that takes over. And your father prepares you this throughout your life. Your father will bring you and say, hey, son, this is where this is where I leave all my stuff. If anything happened to me, this is exactly what you gotta do. This is where my stuff is. This is who you contact. So being the first son, being the first son in the Igbo family is very, very important. And it's a big responsibility as well, too. The biggest challenge I see in the Igbo businesses is funding. That's the biggest challenge. We're very underfunded. We don't have a lot of capital when it comes to other tribes, in my opinion, but we're very resilient. When it comes to the diaspora, that's why I'm very big on Igbo entrepreneurship out in the diaspora, because when we came out here, school was prioritized by us, by our parents, and we all were doctors, lawyers. So we were very good at being good employees when it comes to in the diaspora. And so we need to find a way to start really investing back home, because funding was the only thing holding us back. Again, 1970 wasn't a long ago, and being wiped out the way we was and rebuilding the way we was, we do have a lot of Igbo successful people, very successful people, but a lot of them comes in the aspects of transportation as import and export. A lot of them come from raw materials when it comes to farming and etc. And so, and then some come from oil as well too. But whenever you're talking about what's holding us back from really expanding, is the banks giving the Igbo people more funding. And again, how resilient we were, again, growing up in the early 70s and 80s, I do believe it's very important, especially for all the young people in diaspora, to really wake up when it comes to businesses and go back home and start investing in businesses. There's a large, ample opportunities back home, but again, we don't have the full funds to implement our ideas, and so we just believe, again, that funding is an obstacle in a lot of stuff, because if there's no water, you can't grow. You can't ask a plant to grow without water, and funding is the water when it comes to businesses. And so with more funding that we get, we will see the Igbo people flourish a lot more. But I don't believe there is nothing stopping us remotely close other than just the access to capital. Yeah, that's a good question. I do believe it's still uh, just how, like, history. It may sound cliche and everything, but it's just basically teaching. Uh, Most of anybody that does anything great believe they're the only one that can do it. Uh, they can't really. They have a hard job, a hard time really diversifying or even just teaching somebody their ropes. So our people, most family do a good job of teaching and bringing, again, having a boyer or having your own kin, teaching them how to run the shop. My dad was entrepreneur myself. We still own our shop in Enugu, and so he did a good job teaching me how to run a shop before we came to America, and that was at a very, very young age. I do believe a lot of it is the father being open enough to teach, because again, once you have so much against you, you believe the strongest have to push forward, and you believe you have time forever. And so the only time they start want to teach you, some parents, is when they get older and older, but you might not have that ability to get older and older. Something might happen to you at a younger age. And so I do believe is whenever you do start a business as a family like that, it's very important. It's very, very, very important to also teach. And again, our people, there's a lot of stuff that can go about it, man. I do believe our people is very flamboyant and everything. And so sometimes the kid doesn't want to fall into the family business. And so, and sometimes the father forces the kid to learn the family, just like any other culture. We're not the only one to deal with this. And so, yeah, to be honest, it's just finding what you're finding the best. If you're going to be a family business, finding the right family. Because again, in our culture, we believe the oldest son is the next heir. Sometimes that's not the situation. It might be the last one. It might be the middle one, and it takes us by kind of moving from the norm a little bit and saying, hey, as the oldest son, do you want to run this business? What do you like? What do you want to do? After that, I do believe we do a better job in a long-lasting family business, and just finding somebody that can do it correctly, to have love and passion for it, and then training them and to do it. Not just, it don't have to be your oldest son. And so that's how we can tackle it better. I don't think we love money. We just love enjoyment. And unfortunately, enjoyment, you have to have money to enjoy. Because we just love being around our people. And not about enjoyment, too. We have the most healthiest enjoyment, I believe, in any culture. Like I said, you have a baby shower, you have anything. Our enjoyment is just give you ego, give you money, spray money on you. And so it's not the love of money, because Igbo man will give anybody money. Like, we don't look at money as in, we gotta keep. We look at money as in, if I put you in a good position, I have two people to rely on now, the other than myself. And so I believe it's the enjoyment of money. And it comes from knowing that you are capable of doing it too. If you know you're capable of doing it, it's just money is the aspects of showing like, hey, yes, I'm capable of doing it. But when it comes to also being smart and also being financially good, like I think the Igbo people are one of the most smartest people when it comes to that out here, period. So it's not the love of money, it's just what money can bring, and that comes to enjoyment and making sure your community is good. Also, when we talk about the Igbo apprenticeship system, again, we're talking about most of the stuff we're talking about is a dogu man. Dogu is the man that that's responsible for a lot of people, and so one of the hats is the Isiago, of course you know, and this is our special edition, a Dogu edition. And so I wear this with very pride, and any man that wears this will wear it with very pride, because you're a leader and you're responsible for a lot. And so, with that being said, pick up one if it's still available. If it's not, we have a green and black one you can order too. So I appreciate you guys listening today. It was a great just talking about the Igbo entrepreneurship business and where we came from, the resilience that we raised from the post-war of the Biafran War. And this is a good session episode. I do appreciate you guys to like, subscribe, and also please leave your questions and your topics underneath. We'll love to read them and also get back to you on it to make sure that we're growing in a good and healthy rate. So God bless you guys. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.